And thank you for joining us tonight. The attorney representing a man accused in the death of a Smith County deputy wants a change of venue. Lawyers for Daniel Nyabuto argue media coverage of the deputy's death will prevent their client from getting a fair trial in Smith County. Nyabuto was indicted on a charge of intoxication manslaughter for the death of Smith County Sheriff's Deputy Lorenzo Bustos last summer. KLTV7's Lexi Vanetti was in the courtroom and has more on today's developments.
In the Smith County Courthouse, a discussion between the defense and state before the trial begins. Daniel Nyabuto was in court following a car crash in July that killed 29-year-old Deputy Lorenzo Bustos. Last July, Bustos was on his last day of field training, performing a traffic stop on Highway 155 in Tyler. He was behind his patrol unit when another vehicle driven by Nyabuto crashed into him. Bustos died in the hospital several hours later. Nyabuto was indicted for intoxicated manslaughter last October. This afternoon, the defense says discovery is not complete because they do not have the accident reconstruction.
This is really not directed specifically at Mr. Gateway or the DA's office, but I think DPS has been preparing this accident investigation. I would assume since this is alleged to have occurred, which is going on 9 months now.
The state says,
I have emailed DPS several times. I have called DPS several times. Approximately 12 days ago, I reached out to DPS again about it, and I was told that apparently accident reconstructions, I guess, go through several phases, that it was in the final phase. I think there's 2 phases.
The defense attorney has also filed a motion for a change of venue, alleging pervasive pretrial coverage. Judge Gary Russell says a venue change has almost never come up in his court before, and when it has, he didn't allow it, but he would look into and consider this request for the next pretrial hearing. Lexi Vanetti, KLTV7 News.
Nyabuto will be back in court Wednesday morning.